They say after midnight, the world begins to whisper. But what if I told you that whisper becomes a scream? At exactly 3 a.m., not 2:59, not 3:01, but right there in the center of darkness. It's the hour your phone rings, but there's no call history. The hour children wake up crying with no memory of why. The hour you stare into the hallway, knowing you're not alone. The hour when time slows down, reality shifts, and fear becomes physical. Is it just our imagination playing tricks? Or is something waiting in the silence, watching while the world sleeps? Because it's not just one story, it's thousands. Across time, culture, belief, all pointing to one question no one dares to answer. Why do these unspeakable events always happen at 3 a.m.? Let's not start with ghosts. Let's start with facts. In police reports from New York to Tokyo, emergency calls surge between 3 and 4 a.m. Faint voices, strange breathing, panic. People reporting they saw something, heard something. And it's not just 1 year. It's every year. Hospitals quietly admit, this is when cardiac arrests peak. Prisons log their most violent incidents around this hour. Even babies in NICUs stir more often at exactly 3 a.m. Coincidence? In folklore, 3 a.m. was called the dead hour. In medieval Europe, it was said to be the time witches cast their strongest spells. In West Africa, griots warned never to speak the names of the dead during this hour. In Catholic tradition, it was said the devil moves strongest when the world is weakest, in body and in soul. But here's where it gets uncomfortable. No one told these stories to each other, and yet, across history, they all point to the same hour. What makes 3 a.m. so different? Why do so many people experience terror when the rest of the world is silent? What happens to your mind at 3 a.m.? Science speaks. Let's remove the candles and crosses for a second. Let's talk about what actually happens to the human brain at this hour. Between 3 and 4 a.m., your body hits its lowest operating point. Core temperature drops, heart rate slows, melatonin shifts, your immune system dips, your cognitive control fades. If you suddenly wake up at this time, your brain is halfway in the dream world. Your muscles may still be paralyzed from REM sleep. Your prefrontal cortex, the logical decision maker, is offline, but the amygdala, your fear center, is wide awake. This is why sleep paralysis happens most often at 3 a.m. It's not demons, it's biology. But here's the twist. Why do people from Brazil to Bangladesh all report seeing the same dark figure? A shadow standing by their bed, a presence on their chest, a whisper that sounds like someone they lost. How can science explain consistency in nightmares? Could it be that something is truly there, and science can only measure the fear, not the source? The devil's hour, a spiritual time bomb. Now let's step into religious texts from around the world paint 3 a.m. as the time when spiritual doors open, whether for good or evil. In Christianity, it's the inversion of 3 p.m., the hour of Jesus' death. Satanic rituals often begin precisely at 3 a.m., meant to mock that sacred time. Witches, mediums, exorcists all agree on one thing. At 3 a.m., the veil between this world and the next is thinner. Spirits pass through. Intentions, good or bad, are stronger, and those most vulnerable feel it first. Some argue this is psychological, that belief gives birth to the fear. But what about the stories that come from children who've never heard of 3 a.m.? Like the girl in Kentucky who said, the sad man comes only when the clock glows 3, or the boy in Wales who drew a black figure standing at his door without ever being told of it. And then there are the calls. In one chilling 911 recording, a woman whispers, I can't see it, but it knows my name. The call was made at 3:06 a.m. Officers found the woman alone, no signs of forced entry, but her dog refused to enter the house again. Even the skeptics couldn't explain it. Let's entertain the skeptic's view. Maybe it's all internal. Maybe the terror we feel at 3 a.m. is simply our own emotions magnified in darkness. But then, why is it timed so perfectly? Why don't these stories happen at 1 a.m. or 5? Why always 3? Psychologists admit something powerful happens in the subconscious when it senses emptiness. At 3 a.m., with no traffic, no noise, no movement, your brain fills the silence with meaning. Sometimes that meaning is fear. Sometimes it's memory. And sometimes what we see in the silence isn't made of thought, but something else entirely. Some survivors of near-death experiences have said they saw clocks stuck at 3. Some report being pulled back into their body exactly as the hour passed. Is it spiritual? Is it scientific? Or is 3 a.m. something that doesn't belong to either world? Part 6. So why do these things happen at 3 a.m.? Because it's the hour of maximum vulnerability. It's when your mind is unguarded, your body is still, and the world is quiet enough for you to finally hear the thing that always stood behind you. It's not always a ghost. Sometimes it's a thought, a regret, a part of you that wants to be seen. But sometimes it's more than that. 3 a.m. may not be cursed. It may be chosen. A window not into death, but into something we aren't meant to understand. So next time you wake up at 3 a.m., before you reach for your phone, before you tell yourself it's nothing, just listen, because not everything in the dark is silent, and not everything you fear is imaginary.